Hi everyone, we're back to Football-Oranje, your home of Dutch football in English language. Michael Statham, we've got Abdul on, because there is a big game for Dutch teams again in midweek, and that is Arsenal against PSV. We've got a double header of podcasts that are out. We've got a final Celtic one, and this one is devoted to Arsenal against PSV. We had the matchup between the two teams last season. PSV did rather well in the home game, but away from home didn't quite have the quality to take their chances. So, Abdul, we've got a Champions League group here for PSV. Can I just have your thoughts first of all on the teams that are also in the group? We've got Arsenal, who are super strong from the Premier League, but who are the other teams, and what do you make of the chances for PSV?
Yeah, well, when we saw when the draw was finished, the first thing came to our mind is that we're gonna probably compete for the second place. Most people believed that Arsenal is going to lead the group. Even PSV fans who maybe believe that PSV can actually achieve something against Arsenal, they maybe expect that to be in Philips Stadium, not in London. So the first match is going to be the toughest match with Arsenal. The group is kind of balanced. Anyone can win, maybe can win the second place. But after the beginning of the new season, I noticed that Lens is really performing well. They lost, I think, 4 matches out of 5. Sevilla is not performing well at all. They are also having very bad results. So I hope that means PSV can actually perform well. Speaking about PSV and Arsenal, of course, everybody is expecting Arsenal to win this coming match. But somehow I do have faith that PSV could actually pull a surprise with the quality we have.
I think even a promising performance and a narrow defeat, that will give PSV fans faith that they can finish second in this group. I don't think winning the group is a possibility really, but finishing second is a realistic aim, and that wouldn't have been the case in previous years and the previous managers at PSV. But I really like the look of this team this year. I don't know whether it's because Peter Bosz is in charge or whether it's just the fact PSV had invested, probably both. But I like the look of them. They've got some really good attacking players. How I think that Europe don't quite realise how good they are. I think people think, oh, it's just the Eredivisie. But the Eredivisie is a growing league, and attracting someone like Noah Long to go from Belgium to PSV is a step up rather than a step sideways. And Long is already showing his quality. I was surprised he wasn't given more of a chance for the Netherlands in the international break. He is getting his act together, I think, with his personality, but still able to give really fiery displays on the ball, on the left wing. And I think that he will be a key man against Arsenal, already going into those players for PSV that will be really pivotal in midweek. So there might be lots of Arsenal fans watching this. We don't know. If so, welcome. Subscribe. Check us out on our website. What do you think the main dangers will be for Arsenal, Abdul? I've just touched on Noah Long there on the left wing. Who do you think will also make the most of that step up from the Eredivisie to the Champions League?
Well, Bakayoko could cause a serious threat.
Yeah,
I
people have
think,
heard of him because he was linked with a Premier League move, wasn't he? Burnley
yes,
and Bournemouth, but was it Bournemouth? There were a couple of mid-table teams anyway, but I think, maybe we think, you agree that he's better than that kind of mid-table Premier League level. We're really pleased he stayed with the club
oh yes,
because
definitely.
he could be someone who's a big threat against Arsenal.
Definitely. And we also have Luke de Jong that could cause some trouble. I remember Luke de Jong scoring against Tottenham in the Champions League a few years ago. So the front line seems to be very threatening for Arsenal. I think PSV can cause some trouble. This is our strength, but again, our weaknesses is in the back. I'm kind of concerned about the central defenders. I don't
Yeah.
know if they can manage, to hold to keep the goal away from the Arsenal attackers.
Let's talk about that defence, PSV. Oh my word, they are so open. But when playing teams in the Eredivisie where they're going to win 3 or 4-0, such as the weekend win over NEC Nijmegen, comfortable win. But even then, if NEC could get in behind, they had a chance. But I think because they were so poor, PSV could win it so simply. Against more difficult opposition, that diagonal pass in behind is absolutely killer. And it doesn't seem like the PSV backline has fully learned how to deal with it yet, because they don't have they have too many people committed into forward areas that their interests aren't with defending. I wonder whether they'll have something a different plan away at Arsenal. They will have to sit in deep at points and use a counter attack. They can't expect to have a 50-50 game against Arsenal, because if they do, Arsenal will get in behind easily within the first half. They've got pace. They've got Saka, who is a really, really fine player in my view, and his pace will be massive getting in behind. Even if Dest is up against him, let's say on that left side, then even with those centre backs, I don't know. Buscagli, good on the ball, sometimes questionable off it. Romaglio, even worse, so clumsy. Poor guy. I actually think he's a good defender sometimes, but I think with the mistakes he's made this season, though, could it be argued that PSV are having all these mistakes in those central areas because they're so open, rather than the individual quality of the players?
No, it's about the individual quality of the players. I think it's more of that. We saw the defense against Rangers. I don't think any of us was happy, really, especially the first match where it ended 2-2. The defense made so many mistakes. We almost actually lost that game. I remember Rangers almost scored a third in the
end.
Yeah. Surprisingly, it was blocked by Romaglio. So that's probably the only good thing he did the entire match. I don't want to be harsh on him. He's a very hard-working player, but he is limited. We can see that he's a very limited player. He cannot really give any more. Sometimes when you have a weak defense, you just have to attack. Like what they always say. Attacking is the best way to defend. So maybe attacking will help us, especially that we do have all the quality to attack. And maybe Boss will give Schouten more defensive role than usual. That also could solve some of the problems in the back. From the way I see it, PSV can cause so much trouble to any team in Europe, actually. This is like the best PSV team I've seen since 2014, maybe, or 15, when they made it to the second round of the Champions League.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the other players in that PSV team. I know some people will be regular watchers of our podcast, what we do on YouTube, but also there'll be Arsenal fans coming in here, maybe some casual European fans, and we'll want to know a bit more about PSV players. Joe Veerman's going to be next to Schouten in midfield. Schouten will sit deeper. Veerman is the 8 and very technical player, trying to create things from deeper positions in midfield. Good shot on him as well from the edge of the area. He will need to show how much he has come on already. I believe Veerman has developed his qualities over the past 6 months, I'd say, and he looks a really dangerous player now. And in forward areas, Bakayoko and Long are either side of Luke de Jong. De Jong is being criticised by people in the past when he's gone to moves abroad, but he's probably in the form of his life right now. Really good in the air. That'll be important against some Premier League centre-backs. But then playing behind de Jong, who's it likely to be, do you think?
It could be Ismail Saibari. Who also,
do you think he'll carry on playing there?
Yeah, he was a midfielder yesterday against Nijmegen. I know there's a big difference, of course, between Nijmegen and Arsenal, but he performed well in that position. And of course, Veerman could also be the option. Maybe if Boss wants to play more defensively, he could let Hostil, for example. He has maybe more defensive tendency than Veerman. That also could be an option. But I think he will start with Schouten, Veerman, and Saibari in the midfield.
Yeah, he'll want that technical ability, I think, to see if he can take on Arsenal. And then defensively, we've got that back four could be opened up a few times on the evening. Arsenal will they'll control the game for me, but they've got to be aware of PSV in the counter-attack. Some of the best players for Arsenal, we are aware of Zinchenko's qualities. He played a bit of PSV, but he's obviously come on a lot since he played under Pep Guardiola, going on to be pivotal for Arsenal. I know that Thomas Partey played right back against Crystal Palace, and that was a bit of an issue for Arsenal, but Ben White seems to have come in to that position against Everton the weekend. Odegaard, who, again, as a player that played in the Eredivisie, but has since gone on to new heights. We liked him when he was at Vitesse. Declan Rice, I've got a lot of time for. Excellent player in midfield. But then you've got the forward line. Do Arsenal know who their best front three is yet? Not sure. I mean, we've got Trossard and Gabriel Jesus that could play. Martinelli was taken off injured. Will he play against PSV? We'll see. That's a little rundown of Arsenal there. Who do you think will be more likely to hurt PSV, Abdul? Will it be power, pace? Will it be someone in midfield? What do you think it will take?
Skills. The skills of Arsenal attackers. They are very dynamic players. They could cause us so much trouble. That's what really scares me.
Getting in behind PSV is an easy thing to try and do, but Arsenal will need to target that weakness. They're not the pacey, particularly in their central areas, PSV. And yeah, Arsenal have what it takes, I think. The quality to win the game. So if we get into predictions, Abdul, whilst we are confident about PSV overall in this group, we feel as though PSV are in the final order of the two top teams in the Dutch league this season will fly the flag in Europe. And I think doing Evans proud. But Arsenal away, really difficult. And I don't think PSV will win this one. But if they make a good game of it and we enjoy it, then that's all we can ask of a Dutch team playing in a game like this. So I'm going to go for do you know, I'm actually going to go 2-1 Arsenal, and in the sense that I think PSV will make a game of it. They'll be level at one point, maybe leading the game, but Arsenal have too much.
Do you want me to tell you what I expect or what I wish?
Oh, both.
Okay. Of course, I wish for PSV to have a positive result, maybe a big shock of 3-2 or 2-1, because both attacks are strong. So I think both teams are going to score. But of course, when it comes to a realistic expectation or prediction, it's going to be maybe 2-1 for Arsenal. I think it's going to end 2-1 for Arsenal. But this is the first match and the most difficult match for PSV in the group. So even if they lose this match, it's fine. Then, of course, Sevilla or Lens, they're not as strong as Arsenal. And the second match against Arsenal will be in Philips Stadium. So PSV can start, collecting points after this match. Hopefully they make it.
Yeah, especially at home in Eindhoven. I think home advantage is obviously big for teams in general. But I think in Europe, PSV have a great atmosphere in their home games. It mattered against Rangers a lot. That when the goals went in, they were easily able to control the game, finish it off. But yeah, away at Arsenal, different proposition. This won't be a 0-0 draw, though. I think if anyone's going to put a bet on the game, it won't be 0-0, and I think there'll be goals, and possibly for both sides too. It won't be boring, and PSV will not sit in.
No, they won't. Boss has a very offensive mentality.
Yeah.
We've seen that in almost every team he coached. So I don't think he'll be defensive tomorrow. This on Thursday. I mean, on Tuesday. Wednesday. Sorry.
Who knows?
So many Dutch
sometime
teams
in the week.
so many Dutch teams are playing this week. That's why. So he will play offensively, and I don't think he will sit back. Even if he leads the score, surprisingly, he's not going to put the whole team in the back. It's not possible.
And just for Dutch football fans watching, Abdul, we've got 4 Dutch teams playing in Europe this week. How do you think they'll get on? There's a separate podcast if our followers want to know. We've got final Celtic. We've got a Celtic fan on to talk about the game. I was quite confident that final would win that one. But then we've also got Ajax against Marseille and also AZ are in action. I think AZ will get a win. But I think Ajax will definitely lose against Marseille. They had an awful performance away at 20 this weekend. They look far from it. What do you think for this midweek round of games?
Yeah, well, of course, Feyenoord has the upper hand. They look in a very good shape now. I did not really watch Celtic much lately, but I think Feyenoord has a better quality. They are playing in Rotterdam. They do have a big chance of winning that match. AZ is going to play a team from Bosnia, I think, a team with no experience whatsoever. I think AZ has a chance to also win this match. The only problem is that they're gonna play away. I don't know how difficult that will be, but I think they'll be okay and they will win. The problem is with Ajax, actually. They lost today with a very bad quality. With some luck, Twente could have ended the match 5-1. Actually, they wasted so many chances, and I'm not really sure that Ajax can beat Marseille. Of course, they have to play Feyenoord after that, so it's going to be a very tough week for Ajax with this quality of players, with this quality of team in general. I can't see them defeating Marseille unless they surprise us with something, in that match.
Sure. Well, thank you, Abdul, for your time anyway, and we'll get you back on again soon. If you enjoyed this, do give it a like, support Football-Oranje and help it grow. If you're new here, subscribe. We don't just have a YouTube channel, though. We do have much more on the website. We've got much more on our Twitter or X social media platform. Go and check us out there at Football-Oranje. We're always doing things. So not just a podcast. Come and see our website too. Give us a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching. In the comments down below, let us know what you think the score will be for the game. Bye, everyone.